Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer.
Odin guides us today.
Today we're doing a Let's Play and full live review, initial impressions. This is closer to a full live review. I did get to the very end of this game. I didn't beat the game and I haven't played multiplayer, so you might want to just consider it early impressions if you don't consider that a full review. But it is very close to a full review. And as soon as I start talking, I start messing with my bow and arrow. You should have seen me earlier.
To the left.
When I played without the video recording, I was hitting targets left and right. Oh, I do have some tracking issues, so...
Look to the right.
Oh. Now, this game is running at 45 frames per second, but that is a choice on my part. I did something that I don't normally do, which is I changed super sampling to 1.2. On the Oculus debug tool, I also enabled ASW, 45 frames per second. So, what that does is that makes games on the Quest with link cable look a lot better, but you do lower your frame rate cap to 45. So, it's running at 45 frames per second, but it looks gorgeous. This is a very good looking game, and this... Oh, to the right. I was looking to the left. I'm talking too much. So this game is in early access. It released back in November 2022. It supports the Oculus Rift, the HTC Vive, Valve Index, and the HP Reverb G2. And I might want to try this game on the HP Reverb too, just because games always look a lot better on the HP Reverb G2. I haven't played with it in a long time. Just because although games look great on the HP Reverb 2, and I definitely don't regret my purchase, it's just a lot easier to play most VR games on the Quest. You know, a lot of developers really tailor their games for the Quest. I think this is one of the few games that doesn't. I think it's tailored for the HTC Vive, and I am curious how this game plays on the HP Reverb GT. And I can tell you this change that I made, which I went to the Oculus debug tool and changed super sampling to 1.2. I changed ASW to enabled. Has made a big improvement. The game looked good up close before, but at a distance it looked blurry. But now that I changed to super sampling, and now that I turned on ASW, it looks gorgeous even at a distance. It's no longer blurry.
Look out!
Which makes aiming at a distance a lot better. Obviously, you don't want to be aiming at blurry targets. Now, I do have... I'm going to make one... I'm not a big fan of this sword model. Now, I am going to change one thing. I'm going to change the DLSS. And I'm going to change this to high.
Up there in the tower.
Although I might go back to... I might go back to Epic, because like I said, we're getting 45 frames per second anyway, so it may not make any difference. But I do notice some issues with tracking, which I normally don't experience on the Quest. And I've played other archery games, and I don't experience these tracking issues. So I'm not sure why this game in particular, on the Quest with link cable, with the touch controllers, why I'm having tracking issues. It doesn't... Obviously, you don't want any tracking issues on an archery game.
Choose a path.
I chose the right side on my last playthrough, so I'm going to go left. Do you see something different? I think that's the only choice in this game. I think other than that, this game, you pretty much play the same. You have to do the tutorial if you die. I don't like that. Oh, by the way, I don't think I mentioned it, but I did receive a free Steam key through the Steam Creator Connect program to review this game. And like I said, it normally retails for $20. There's 3 levels in the single player campaign, so there's not a whole lot of content. There's also a multiplayer level for up to 4 players co-op. I have not been able to test the multiplayers. I can't really comment on that level or how the co-op plays in this game. Obviously, being able to play the full game in online co-op would be awesome, but that's not an option at this time. Oh man, just a little.
Protect the ship.
Oh man, I'm doing terrible now. Oh no.
Kill them.
Okay, woo! We survived, but we definitely took a lot more damage than we wanted to. I always play a lot more terrible when I'm having to talk for these videos. The sword model I also don't like. The sword model looks kind of flat. It just doesn't look really good, in my opinion. There's not a whole lot of content to this game. Like I said, I got to the very end, the end of the 3rd level, where I died, so I didn't beat the game, but it took me about 30 minutes to get there. So there's not really a lot of content in the single-player campaign. I can't really speak for the one multiplayer level, but I can't imagine that has a lot more content there. What this game has going for it, though, it looks absolutely beautiful. This is a stunning game. Like I said, in fact, I might even want to pump it up to epic. I don't know why I switched down to high. Like I said, I'm already at 45 frames per second. It's pretty steady, 45 frames per second. And like I said, that was a decision on my part to lower it. I'm not sure why I did that, but DLSS definitely, I think, is better just because I was having some issues with the lighting with the other anti-aliasing options. And yeah, I mean, I give up performance when it's something as important as being able to see at a distance and it's blurry and it's a bow and arrow game. But obviously you prefer not to do that. So I would prefer 90 frames per second and it not be blurry, but on my RTX 3080 that's just not an option. So unfortunately I do have to make a compromise. This game does have very high requirements. The 3080 is basically the minimum recommended spec for this, so this game is definitely not for everyone. If you don't have an RTX 3080, I wouldn't even bother with this game. I mean, you probably want like a 4090 or a 3090 Ti if you want to play this game, and maybe you can get 90 frames per second then with higher super sampling where it doesn't look blurry at a distance. Wow, that's some fancy shooting there. Wow. Wow, that's some good shooting there. Whoa, wow. I should get some kind of combo streak for that. I will say, though, I would compare this game to Sacrilus. And I think Sacrilus overall is a better game. It also has more content. You know, that game has like over 2 hours of content. This game barely has 30 minutes of content on a single-player mode. But the graphics here are unparalleled with any other archery game. If you compare this to In Death, the bow and arrow mechanic, the gameplay is a lot better in Death, but obviously In Death doesn't look this good. Although it does have stylized graphics that I think look good enough, and overall I would say In Death is definitely a much better game. I would also say Sacrilus is a better game. But this is not a bad game, it's just very light on the content, and unfortunately the gameplay does get a little stale after you beat it. Because there's not a whole lot to come back to, you know. There's no upgrades, there's no skill tree. You're basically just shooting other humans. Now the stages do change. Like we're on a boat now. This is the 2nd level. I skipped the 1st level, which was just like a basic wave shooter where you protect the village and you're just in one spot. I didn't really like that 1st level. And then there's finally one where you're like in a trebuchet or a catapult. I'm not sure. I think it's a trebuchet. But the problem is that it's pretty much the same. Either way, you're just on rails moving forward and just constantly shooting targets. So there. So there's not a whole lot of variety, to be honest.
Protect the ship.
But on the other hand, this is one of the most beautiful games in VR. The scene, especially this boat scene, I think this is the best level, and it looks gorgeous. So I think this might be a game that you showcase to friends and family. Even though the gameplay isn't great, just the visuals are total eye candy.
And hazardous. In the distance, you catch a
now I'm going to show a little bit of this
heavily
last
fortified.
level, but I'm not going
you'll
to play
have to
through it all.
destroy
I don't
the
want to make
gate.
this a super long video.
You hide the ship on the riverside.
Again,
and you assemble a
This
mighty
game looks
siege
beautiful,
engine.
but the gameplay is very basic. You know, there's no skill tree, there's no upgrades. There's not much variety in the gameplay. You're just shooting almost the same type of enemy over and over. Now, there are differences. Obviously, some of them are archers, some of them are melee, some of them have shields. So there is a little bit of variety in the gameplay.
Vengeance
You got to
is
know
near. Keep your men
when to...
alive.
Basically,
Reach the gate and
you got to
destroy
know when to shoot at the enemies. Is this the... What device is... Oh, I guess it's a battering ram. I was saying a trebuchet and a catapult. It's a battering ram, right? But you can see you're just almost the same. You know, you're not on a boat on water, but you're just moving forward on a vehicle. And then obviously you're shooting enemies that are coming towards you. Now these have more shields, and there's just a whole bunch more. It says to defend your soldiers, but it's pretty difficult to, because you know they have shields, so it's pretty hard to kill them at a distance.
Prepare! They're coming!
And you see a lot of my arrows don't do a whole lot. And you just have to be really good at headshots to get past their shields. And obviously if it's blurry, it's hard to do that. This is about as crisp as I can get it on my RTX 3080 and my MetaQuest 2. I don't think I can do much better than this. Again, I do have it on cinematic. I am getting 45 frames per second. I did super sampling to 1.2, and I did ASW enabled. And this is how I get the best possible results for my rig. You can see here I'm having trouble hitting the target, which I need to do headshots to get past their shield or find a way to... Oh no. No. You see, there's not a whole lot I can do there. No. See, there's not a whole lot I can do there. Like, I don't know what I can do. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot I could do there. Like, my own. And, you know, that's an impossible shot. I don't know if I should even waste time trying to get that shot.
Watch out for the fire!
Oh man, come on. Those guys are just so hard to get. I mean, there's not a big window there to hit those targets.
They are hiding in the shadows!
Yes, I know. I mean, it's hard to line up. It really is super difficult. And, you know, that one is almost impossible.
Up there in the tower!
Oh, I got him. Got very lucky there. But yeah, if I have to rate this game, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. The gameplay is alright. You know, I think that's really where the bow and arrow could be better. It could feel more like the bow and arrow in Death. To me, it just feels a little bit too arcade, not realistic enough. And I think we're about to die here, because I think my men are all dead. I think it's just one dude at this point, and I think we're gonna die. And I'm gonna basically die at the same place where I died earlier, which this is like impossible. I don't know how you get these guys. I really don't.
300 meters left.
I mean, even with my vision improved, to make it less blurry, I still can't see these targets. Like, I really can't. Like, maybe if I'm not the most eagle-eyed person, so I'm gonna say that up front. I'm not the best person for being able to see at a distance. I definitely need my glasses in VR, and I'm not wearing glasses currently. But I mean, you have to basically make headshots at this point.
Only 50 meters left.
Okay, it's over. It's over. I did about as good as I could do, honestly.
Those who perish in combat
I also had some tracking
on
issues
death.
on the MetaQuest 2
Odin
using
awaits
the
you.
touch controllers, which I normally don't have tracking issues. I don't know why this game brought that out. I did find out I have to play standing to get better tracking, but for most games I don't have tracking issues. I don't know why I have them for this game. But like I said, overall it gives a 6 out of 10. The gameplay just needs to be more dynamic. The visuals are wonderful, but it needs more content. The gameplay needs more variety and just needs to be more dynamic. It needs to have more depth to it. The bow and arrow could actually feel better, more like the bow and arrow in Death. And it's just like a notch or two below how it feels to shoot a bow and arrow in Death. So, yeah, this is FERD. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Fjord. It's in early access. It's $20, so it is priced a little steep for the content. Like I said, I almost got to this ending in about 30 minutes. So, anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. This has been my live review or initial impressions, whatever you want to call it. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day. And goodbye.